Good Wednesday afternoon. My name is Jerry Miller. Welcome to the I Love CVille Show. We are live in Charlottesville, Albemarle County, Central Virginia, in the Commonwealth, the country, and the world on the I Love CVille network. Justin Goodman in the house, guys. This guy, the co-owner of Zoom Cville with his beautiful better half. We're going to talk the nitty-gritty of small business ownership in Charlottesville, Virginia. He also follows the news cycle very closely, so hot topics in that news cycle will come up today. Born and raised
Yep.
in Charlottesville.
Martha Jefferson when it was just up the street.
Old school Martha Jefferson in the house. I love this guy already. Give it a like and a share on any of these Facebook pages you're watching the program on. If you want to give Justin some props, put it in the comments section of any of these 12 Facebook pages, and I will pass it along on air. Before we welcome Justin to the show, we are an advertising agency at VMV Brands and I Love CVille. Our team on the second floor has 114 clients on our roster from New Providence, New Jersey, where our satellite office is, all the way to Asheville, North Carolina. Many of them in Central Virginia. Two of our favorites where we wrap all aspects of their brand, Interstate Pest and Service Companies, and Scott Wagner Chiropractic and Sports Medicine. First, Interstate. The company started in 1969 with the first generation in Charlottesville. 1969 in Charlottesville. Mr. Robert Wells, who has since passed away, used his personal truck and payphones in the city to build a client roster. Today, 4 generations of family running the company, and they are making Central Virginia a better place for everybody. Same with Dr. Wagner, chiropractic care, physical therapy, sports medicine. Dr. Wagner has your back. Ashley Chericks, welcome to the program. Give it a like, give it a share. Judah Wickhauer, my friend, my pal, my chum, my homie, my amigo, my compadre, studio camera. And let's welcome the dapper, Justin Goodman, to the program.
What about dapper?
How are you,
These
homie?
are my work clothes anyway, so
It's not
I'm wearing my work clothes, you're wearing yours. I guess that works.
Not everybody gets to go to work and Lululemon. You mentioned that off air.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the perks.
Yeah, you're looking sweet, dude. I love the Lulu hoodie.
Thank you.
What's a good word? Same question for everybody. Introduce yourself to the viewing public, please.
Cool. So I grew up here. Lived in D.C. for just a little bit after school, and my wife and I both owned small businesses there in Arlington. And when we were just looking to kind of move to a little bit lower traffic area, we could both still service our clients out of Northern Virginia, move here. I was from here, so it was a easy move, and kind of got into fitness and cycle specifically. When I had some injuries that I was working through, so. It's just kind of like if something's not there that you want, just start it, and that's kind of how we started.
Respect, huge respect for that. Julie Arrington, welcome to the program. Neil Williamson says hello, thank you for joining us. How did you and your beautiful better half meet? Were you the charming guy with the quick one-liner?
Oh my gosh! So actually, it's the fell in love in a bar situation.
I love that.
So my other business, in addition to Zoom, is I DJ weddings.
Nice.
And back then, this is one of the things that I think is kind of cool about me as a wedding DJ is that I actually got my start doing bars and clubs. And we did have a lot of mutual friends, but I was DJing in a bar, and Cara was a regular patron, and things kind of went from there. We had a lot of mutual friends that introduced us, and she used to, the joke was that she used to have a toothbrush in the DJ booth.
Wow, I love that. Stephanie Ragland, who's watching the show, she introduced Justin and I. Hello,
Yeah.
Stephanie. Thank you for that intro. So talk to us about that. You are at the bar.
Yeah.
You're playing some badass tunes. You get in the bar jacked. You get in the bar, keeping their mouths wet with some good booze. Next thing you know, you chitter-chattering with Cara?
So we had some mutual friends that I knew like through the bar and elsewhere, and they basically, they said, oh, you guys should meet. We think you'd be a good fit. You guys are both very laid back. And so we went out on a date and hit it off, and our first date, she came to the bar later. So I was like, all right, if she's coming to the bar, that must have gone pretty well.
Yeah.
And 5 years later, we got married, and a few years later, now I have a 10-month-old. So
I love it. Starting a business with your better half. Talk to us about that.
Oh, man, it's great when we agree. You know that, right?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
It's great when you agree. When we disagree, she wins. So it's pretty much everything's her decision.
I love it.
So,
and you're not just
when I
saying
happen
that,
to agree with her,
you're not just saying that because you're on air.
Yeah, no, she basically makes the decisions.
I love it.
Which is good. I'm more impulsive.
Okay. Is that a good thing?
I mean, it's, we're good at different things. I'm the big picture guy, and she's the detail nitty gritty. Yeah. And, it's a lot of like, oh, yeah, that sounds great. How are you going to do it? And then it sort of forces the focus and like, well, maybe that's not a great idea, but what if we went this way? So that's sort of our creative process, and it works for us. We're a good yin and yang.
I love it. So you moved from Arlington to Charlottesville.
Yes.
Is this strictly for quality of life?
We call ourselves traffic refugees.
Yeah.
So in a lot of ways, yeah. A lot of affordability reasons. I mean, just, we live in the city in Fry Springs now, and for, what our house cost there, as expensive as Charlottesville is, we'd be living in a shoe closet in North Arlington. So, affordability, quality of life, traffic. I grew up here, so I've always loved it. UVA sports doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
So,
what's Justin's childhood like growing up in CVille? It's changed so much, dude. How old are you?
I'm 33. I'll be 34 in a couple months.
Okay, so you have 34 years of perspective. This is an open-ended question. Go anywhere you want. Give us like a tangible answer. I've been here 20 years, came here as a first year at UVA. 34 years almost in Charlottesville. Tangibly, how have you seen it changed?
It's grown obviously considerably. I remember growing up, there was it was either back-to-back years or 3 years in a row or whatever it was. I think it was in middle school where Charlottesville was rated like USA Today best place to live. And then, that must have been 20 years ago, something like that. And I guess about exactly 20 years. And it's blown up since then. I mean, I can remember north of town, there was nothing. Absolutely nothing. And then Hollymead popped up. The town center up there popped up, and it was like, oh my gosh, there's all this new stuff. And now, I mean, we're seeing, people, we see customers that live in Ruckersville and Scottsville, north and south of town. We have customers that come to us that live in Louisa. So, just the sort of metro area of Charlottesville has so expanded.
I remember, I'm going to throw this to you. I remember when Charlottesville started getting like the USA Today and the Huffington Post best place to live in America. And I often characterize that accolade like this on this program. It is the best thing, one of the best things that's ever happened to Charlottesville, and one of the worst things that's ever happened to Charlottesville. Best things, here's why. Drives ridiculous real estate values.
Yeah.
Best things, so strong for the economy. Best things, who doesn't want to get props nationwide for being the best place to live? Worst things, takes a ton of, and my in-laws are Yankees, so I say this with some trepidation, takes a lot of Yankee money, a lot of Midwest money, a lot of West Coast money, a lot of snowbird Florida money, and drives it into this community. Population increases, traffic increases, real estate values increase. The yin to the yang of that topic is affordability becomes an issue.
Right.
Best and worst thing with that accolade, anywhere you want to go.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely, it's created, as when you're talking about real estate values going up is a good thing. Yeah, that's great if there's the infrastructure to support it, if, the people that are, living in Charlottesville can continue to afford to live there, or, if they want to cash out on their investment, great, but they got to go somewhere. They got to be able to afford, if you owned a house in Charlottesville and your house has gone up in value 200% and you want to cash out, by all means, you should be allowed to do that, but you have to be able to go somewhere. Just that sort of infrastructure, making sure that it's there. They're trying to now, it's a hot topic in our HOA, putting that new 140, 170 units at the end of Stribling Avenue.
Yeah.
And
so you are in Huntley?
Yeah.
Okay. Great spot.
Yeah.
Your ROA is going to be off the charts there.
Yeah. So they just sold out the neighborhood. My wife and I have talked to, if and when we do move, we'll probably never want to sell that place.
It's a rental property all day, every day.
So, proximity to the hospital, proximity to university, no matter what happens with the market. And that's another great thing about Charlottesville is I feel like our property values here will always be insulated from major national market changes, just because we have that huge employer of UVA, that huge draw of UVA, the wealthy Yankees, the wealthy West Coasters, the people that are moving here that aren't struggling for money, I feel like the market here is always going to be pretty strong.
Isn't it such a catch-22 topic? Okay, so I look at it like this. We're both young fathers.
Yeah.
You have a 10-month-old daughter. I have a 2-year-old son. So from my standpoint as talking as a business owner now, having a Dairy Market and Dairy Central with CoStar and was it Dexcom opening in Preston Avenue. We're talking Fortune 500 companies.
Yeah.
We're talking what Code is coming in the downtown mall. Joffrey Woodruff, a billionaire hedge fund titan, is putting his portfolio of brands and businesses in the former Ice Park. Willow Tree's expanding in Woollen Mills. Co-Construct's opening on the downtown mall. The freaking community is effing booming.
Yeah.
Okay. As business owners, it's phenomenal.
Right.
As fathers that want our offspring to grow up in an eclectic, vibrant, and diverse community, it scares the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Because I see this turning into this, for lack of better phrase, this wealthy white playground, the 10.27 square miles that Charlottesville is.
Yeah, I mean, that's a concern that it turns into this sort of suburban Disneyland.
Well said.
That it's not a reflection of real life.
You think about this?
Yeah.
Do you think about it?
I do, for sure. It's something where, I went to Stab, and just being very frank, Stab's done a better job now with diversity than they did when I was there. But I always, and have come to much more now, appreciate the background of sort of growing up in the business that my dad was in criminal law, of really getting to know a real full swath of people, and just, getting to know people outside that bubble. Getting to know that, that there are people that have, just his clients that were really good people, that something happened and, it is what it is. That I think scares a lot of people. And then you end up with this sort of, the criminal justice system as the downward spiral. And that plays into everything we're talking about too, of, if you can't get a good job, then you can't afford to live in Charlottesville.
Well said. Let's talk about that guy. Scotty Goodman.
Yeah.
Scott Goodman. Voice of Albemarle basketball.
Football.
Voice of Albemarle football. Scott Goodman.
Girls basketball.
Girls basketball.
He does it all.
Best seat in the house in the Patriot Gymnasium. Helping countless people from many socioeconomic backgrounds, many different races in Charlottesville and Albemarle County. A man about town. A man who you probably have walked alongside so many times along the downtown mall, and probably have had 15 different stop and chats.
The downtown mall with him is
right.
It's a 45-minute
He's like a local
walk.
celebrity.
Yeah.
Okay, talk about Scott Goodman.
He's great. I can't imagine a better father. And again, being around him and growing up. My wife joked, I think I told you off air, that when we opened the studio, we shouldn't have called it Zoom. We should have called it Scott Goodman Cycle, and that it would have been more popular. It's great that, people love him. And I think that people realize that he has gone out of his way for a lot of people, and he's always willing to, he's never been judgmental, which has been great. The few times I got in trouble growing up, it was easy to call him and be like, I got in trouble, doing X, Y, Z, and he'd be like, oh, that's it. So, it was nice to not have a judgmental parent. And not that my mother was, but, he was especially non-judgmental.
John Hutton Keswick, welcome to the program. Oscar Oregon, watching the program as we speak. Christian PL, welcome to the show. Give it a like and a share on any of these 12 Facebook pages. And if you want to relay any perspective to Justin, put it in the comments section, and I will pass it along to him. Stephanie says, wow, Justin, I didn't even know till now that was your dad. I used to clean for him. Keith Rosenfield, the owner of Hotcakes in Barracks Road Shopping Center, watching the program as we speak. All right, let's talk business.
Yeah.
Zoom Cville. Anywhere you want to go.
It's great. I love being in Charlottesville. We're in a great shopping center. I think I've sort of, mentioned on your page before, as you talk about the
You're straight up the best shopping center you guys are in.
I think so. I think that we are. I think that, access is generally really good. We're off 29. We're right off 250. 64 is not far away. We have great parking. Even in the holidays, we've never had customers complain about parking. And the center is very, very well managed. They're very professional. It's a very big organization, but just to give you an example, we had, and thankfully this was 6 inches, 8 inches outside the building and not inside the building. We had a pipe situation, and I let them know we had, the plumbers came out. It must have been like 10 p.m. one night. And the next day I emailed them and said, hey, here's what they said. They went in with the camera. It's right outside the building. Within 48 hours, they were digging up the sidewalk and fixing the problem.
Get out. Now, you pay for that.
Yes.
Okay.
Very much.
Yeah.
We do. But, it's just a very professional, well-run company where it's, when we bring something up like that, they were literally digging up the sidewalk 48 hours later to, replace that piece of pipe.
When did you launch? Give us the who, what, when, where, why.
So April 1 will be 4 years.
Nice, dude.
So,
congratulations.
Making it through those, all the small business failure landmarks 1 year at a time.
80% of small businesses fail in their first 2 years. You're 4 years in. If you can do 4, you're passing this business on to your baby daughter.
I hope so. And we talk about, we're working on a lease extension with Barracks now.
Nice.
We hope we're there for a very long time. We took more space last year. In addition to Cycle, we launched our strength and conditioning concept last year. We have some great folks working over there. So, again, working with that yin and yang, we feel like we've got the cardio, we've got the strength now. So, we've taken more space out at Barracks Road. And, we're working on an extension there. We love being there.
Can you give us some insight? I talk about this all the time. So I launched this business 12 years ago on May 31st of this year.
Wow.
Launched this in a condo that is now a rental property in the Villas at Southern Ridge, south side of Charlottesville. For the first 6 months, literally bachelor-infested pad. Cut a career doing print, radio, and TV broadcasting to launch this company. For the first 6 months, I had no clients. Watched my $32K in savings that I had to launch the business dwindle to very little. I was scared shitless. Yeah. Vulnerability that you were feeling when you launched this company, this business 4 years ago.
Oh my gosh. It was we just paid off our loan this year that we took out when we started. So we're fortunate.
Bank loan?
Yeah.
Respect.
So, but that, when you're signing a bank loan, when you're signing a real estate lease, when you've got nothing to back it, it was Cara and I signing personal guarantees on everything. And, you're taking out a 6-digit loan. You're taking out a 6-digit, build out allowance from Barracks Road. You're personally guaranteeing everything. You're personally guaranteeing another year of rent if you go out of business.
Jesus.
That's it's
real.
A weight on your shoulders constantly. And I think that weight, this, it's when you've got liabilities hanging over your head, it slows down everything you're trying to do. Just working through that. Can I afford to take this risk? Is this a good idea? Does this, do I have enough liquidity if I put this expenditure out there? Can I afford to replace my bikes this year? Now with coronavirus and who knows what that's going to do to small business. That's a major belt tightening issue.
Stephanie Pekik, welcome to the program. Throw this to you. Why did you launch the business in the first place? What open and unfilled niche did you see?
It was just something where we felt like everything that existed in Charlottesville, if we were to do it, we would do it a little bit differently. And I think one of the great things about Charlottesville is we have such an eclectic group of people. We have people that have grown up here. We have people that have moved here from New York City, from LA. And I think that there is something for everybody here. And if you do something differently, and if you are 100% about what you're about, and you do it with everything you can, that, you're going to draw your crowd in. And that's what we've sort of tried to do. We've never seen ourselves as competitors to another business. We have seen ourselves as everybody who loves what we're doing and may not know it yet. We want to draw them in.
First year of running the company, what was it like?
So we opened in April, and we have a good, healthy now mix of students and not students. But one of the great things about being in a university town is students see hundreds of people a day. So if you're launching a business, that organic growth, which is all you can afford at first, in a college town can be exponential because every single student sees hundreds of other people every day. But April 1 is a month before students leave.
Right.
So we were profitable our first month, which is incredible. Not what we were expecting. And then it fell off a cliff for the summer.
So the students rallied to Zoom in month one?
Month one.
So that's a testament to you and your wife's social media skill set and branding skill set, right?
So we did practice classes in our basement for 6 months before we opened.
In Fry Springs?
In Fry Springs.
Holy
we had an
shit.
unfinished basement. With my DJ stuff, I had a whole sound system in there. We were rocking classes at 6 in the morning.
And the neighbors had no beef?
Minimal beef.
Okay.
We tried to keep it down a little bit, but just having having those one or two key law students, having a couple Darden students, a couple undergrads that came in, and just we're telling friends like, you guys are gonna love this when it opens. We did 2 weeks of free classes when the studio opened, and then launched from there. And we're really near where a lot of law students live, a lot of Darden lives. I think at that point they were really itching to have something like us nearby, and it was able to make us profitable in the first month.
When the doldrums of summer hit, what was happening? What was going through your mind?
We had, until last year, we didn't have a profitable summer yet. So it was still this feast or famine of, even though we were doing pretty well during the school year, last summer was our first profitable summer. It's been a grind to get summers profitable. School breaks are tough because even in being in a university town, a lot of people, when school's off, that's when they're off. So that's when they're leaving town too. So even your 12-month-a-year residents that are customers are not as frequent during the summer, during the school breaks. So it's been tough trying to build that 12-month crowd, and that's something where we've really focused is, not to take the students for granted, but to say, all right, we're going to have our marketing that's devoted to them. We're going to make sure that we continue to serve those clients and have class times that work for them, but to really, really hyper-focus on the people that live here 12 months a year that can help us pay our Barracks Road rent every month, because it doesn't go down over the summer.
Right. CVille Weekly, welcome to the show. 106.1 The Corner watching. Andre Xavier, CEO and founder of CVille Hop-On Tours, watching the program now. Give it a like and give it a share on any of these streams, and put some comments in the comment section. We will get to these comments, guys, for Justin in a matter of moments. Just put it in the comment section, and I will pass them along. So you are profitable in month one. This is about 4 years ago. The summer doldrums, you're like, shit, the students are gone, we got to figure this out. You do.
I mean, we had to put personal money in multiple times.
See, that's something that I think we should highlight. Like, I talk about often the trials more than the tribulations of doing what I do here. And people are like, you own a lot of the Macklin building. Well, 2 weeks ago, the second floor toilet flooded into the hallway. Yeah. And I was squeegeeing up, for lack of better phrase, piss from the bathroom. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And taking the trash out, and it was disgusting.
Yeah.
And putting money back into the business, like The Profit and Shark Tank and these shows on CNBC glorify entrepreneurs, but dude, it's like the opposite.
Yeah, I mean, it's if something happens again, I mean, no matter what time of day the toilet overflows, you have to come in.
Right.
I mean, if the first of the month is coming and you're short on payroll, that's money that you're putting in to make payroll.
Right.
I mean, it's not an option not to pay people. So it's, that's money that you're putting in. And gosh, I've even lost track of how much money we put in at this point, beyond our initial sort of loan that we were hoping would be our, build out and our startup money, and then our initial, capital. But multiple times, and we have a location in Alabama too, multiple times putting money into that location.
I had no idea about that.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to ask you about the Alabama. Dude, I got so much respect for you. Walk us through the build out of a badass studio like Zoom. Like, how does that even happen?
So Cara and I both, we literally traveled around the world to different fitness studios that we liked, places that we liked, took elements that we liked, and talked to consultants here and said, here's something we really like out of a studio in Dallas. Here's something we really like out of a studio in Hong Kong. Here's something we really like out of a studio in
Hong Kong?
Hong Kong, London.
Wow.
And said, here's things that we liked that they did.
So you're on a studio on a bike with a notepad taking notes?
Almost, yeah. I mean, literally, we when we go to other studios, we will come out of class and we both immediately get on our notes on our phones and say, here's 100 things I wrote down that I loved about that.
Baller.
That I want to make sure that we can try and bring back to our studio. And yeah, I mean, and trying to do those things on not a London, not a Hong Kong, not an LA budget, doing it on a Charlottesville budget and saying we want it to be as cool, but we don't have $3 million to spend on a studio.
Right. Nor would a bank give you $3 million.
No.
Right?
No.
So how do you do it? Like, I mean, you take these ideas, you assimilate them into one concept.
Yes.
Like, what's the flip book of idea to tangible actualization?
So first was finding the right spot, right? So once the spot opened up in Barracks, that we looked at a couple spots downtown. We looked at a couple spots north of town on the 29 corridor, things like that, and really sort of honed in on Barracks once that we knew that was available and that was an option.
The old BW3s.
So we're actually in the old University of Flores.
University of Flores. Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
So BW3s is adjacent.
Gotcha.
And we actually just took some of their old space.
Nice.
And at that point, it was, all right, this is a little bit smaller than what we want, but it's what we can afford. And how do we get what we want into this space? And we worked with a consultant who had done a number of cycle studios before. And we basically said, all right, how many bathrooms do we have to have? Because we need the cycle studio to be this big. We need the lockers here. We need a front desk. How much retail do we want to carry? How much do we project that part of our business is going to bring in? How much do we need to save up to make sure that we have enough money to buy our initial retail? Because again, those companies aren't giving credit to a brand new company.
Right.
They don't know that we're not going out of business on day 3.
Right.
And so they're not going to send us $20,000 worth of athleisure and then hope for the best and let us sell it like they would, when Nordstrom buys clothes, they get to send back what they don't sell.
Yeah, and they probably have like 90 days dating.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever it is. You're upfront cash.
Yeah, they're on credit and they get to send back what they don't sell. So we're straight cash. If you don't deal with it, if you don't sell it, deal with it, pay me. So that was tough. And then sort of working on incorporating all those elements that we talked about. We wanted to have a really high-end club quality sound system. We wanted to have a cool lighting display. We wanted to do some things differently just to sort of get people hype about, working out. And a lot of what we do is almost trying to get people to forget that they're working out.
Yeah,
we want people
escape.
to work, yes. We want people to work really hard, forget that they do it. When we talk about our instructor training, one of the first questions I ask our instructors is, what do you think would be one of the best compliments you could get walking out of class from a customer? And, everybody has a little bit of a different answer. The one that really speaks to me is when customers come in and they're like, I was kind of planning on dogging it today, but I worked my ass off because you got me there.
It's awesome.
So that for me is what speaks to me, not like, I loved that song that you played. Like, great, I didn't write it. I'm glad you liked it. And I'm glad I know what you like, but like, I didn't write that song. That's not about me. When I can get somebody to come in and work hard that was planning on just kind of checking off that box and was planning on kind of dogging it, and they came in and they worked their ass off, that's what really speaks to me.
Respect. You got a lot of folks watching. Matt Tallhelm, the award-winning NBC 29 broadcaster, watching now and giving you props. Jade Faulkner Miller watching and giving you props. Leslie Fravel. I might be messing up your last name, Leslie. Thank you for watching the program. She's giving you some props. Catherine Dunn, hello and welcome to the program. Give it a like, give it a share. I will get to these comments. You mentioned this off air. Your schedule, your affinity, and borderline addiction to espresso.
Yeah.
You doing a 6 a.m. class on, say, I'm just talking out loud, say a Wednesday,
yeah,
when you're teaching an evening class the night before. How does Justin Goodman make this happen?
So that is tough, and the schedule is a big challenge. A lot of times I will teach a 6:45 p.m. class, gets out 7:30. I'm still in the studio till 8:30, tidying things up, whatever. And then I need to teach a 6 a.m. class the next day, which means up at 4:30, ripping espresso shots, ready to go, trying to be the most motivating person in the room. That's one of the big things that we are huge on at the studio, and is making sure that, our instructors, we're about people too. You're not going to be the most fired up person every single day to go in and teach, but every day somebody needs that to be the best 45 minutes of their week. And so even if it's 30 seconds before class, man, I feel like shit, I've got a headache, I'm tired, I've, a million different things going on, body ache. As soon as class starts, it's got to be 45 minutes of your best energy no matter what.
I have so much respect for you. I have so much respect for anyone that is doing this in general. I'm talking about launching a business. Entrepreneurship, creating jobs, doing it in a way where they're leaving their footprint in the community better than when they first arrived. You have compounded it by doing this with your wife. You have compounded it by managing and balancing parenthood and fatherhood with a 10-month-old daughter. So total respect for you here. You've taken it to another level with an Alabama location. How did that come to fruition?
So that's in Huntsville. That's where my wife is from.
Okay.
That's where Cara's from. And we have some community ties there. And it was something where boutique fitness is just starting to take off in Huntsville.
Okay.
Charlottesville has a very mature market for boutique fitness. People are very used to paying boutique fitness prices, which are...
What is boutique fitness?
Well, boutique fitness is it's different than, I don't want to name names, but it's different than a big gym. We're giving a higher quality class experience. We're giving the community, and that's something that boutique fitness can't be Amazoned. I know that there's Peloton out there, and I know that there's people that ride Peloton, but I see those as people who are probably coming from the big gym experience where they're not looking for a community, and that's fine. Everybody has a different workout need, and everybody has a different workout plan and different schedule. But if you need a community, you can't Amazon that. You can't figure out a way to get 36 different people in one room high-fiving each other and sweating together and not do that with straight up retail business. I mean, that's going to have to be something that people are coming to. And, we're learning all the time. That Alabama location, we have the most fantastic manager there. I hope Jody's watching. She is the most fantastic manager. She does everything so well. The clients love her. We love her. But learning how to manage managers is another skill. When we first opened, we had 5 front desk, and besides my wife and I, 3 other instructors. And now we have 2 studios here with at least 15 instructors, and we have over 40 employees in total. And it's a constant learning process of how to manage better, how to manage a company the size that it is now. We're fortunate that our employees are patient with us, because I don't pretend to be perfect. I know we're always learning, but the best thing that you can hope for is both on the employee side and on the customer side that people see that you're trying your best.
James Watson's watching the program right now, small business owner himself. He says Huntsville, Alabama is a fast-growing and booming town.
Huge. I don't want to get too political, but the government's always going to be spending. And that's another town that's like Charlottesville, where I feel like they're a little bit insulated from the ups and downs of the market, because that's all aerospace, that's all defense, that's all, it's a lot of high-paid engineers that, are, sitting at a desk 8 hours a day and need to move. And they're smart and they know that. And so our location there is doing great.
Negotiating leases. I mean, you wear so many freaking hats, dude. So this is just, and I've known you for roughly 50 minutes.
Yeah.
In the 50 minutes, this is what I've learned about you. You are visionary, you along with your wife. You're a DJ.
Yes.
You got some swag and some swagger to be able to meet your special lady in a bar and make that happen. You're a father.
Yeah.
You are a negotiator. You're born and raised in this area. You are a motivator, and sometimes you have to flip that switch and turn it on, whether it's like, really there or not, but you're doing that with your clients and the people that come to your gym. How about the negotiator? Talk to us about that.
It's tough because, especially in a town like Charlotte, so this isn't New York, this isn't DC, you can't be a hard ass all the time.
Do you have any leverage when negotiating with, and you don't go anywhere you want, when negotiating with somebody like Federal Realty, do you have any leverage at all when everybody and their mother wants to be in this shopping center?
Yes and no.
Okay.
No, in that, look, we're 2,000 square feet plus another 1,300 that we just took.
That's legit.
I mean, it is, but, think about how much
it's not
Nike
Harris
is.
Teeter.
It's not Harris Teeter.
Yeah, it's not Kroger.
Right, and all of those companies are doing so well that they're paying percentage rent on top of their rent and all that, and we are realistic that we are not their primary source of revenue. However, we also know that they're a great landlord and they want local businesses in Barracks Road, and I have seen a willingness on their end to work with us to make things work for us. Because they want local business, they want locally owned businesses, they want places that have the owner in the business there. So I don't know that that's a huge leverage point, but again, I think they're smart enough to recognize too that this is not DC, this is not New York, and that they're going to have to work with people too. So again, we love being there. They're great landlords, and not a lot of hard-ass negotiation that we have with them, but or leverage that we have with them, but they really do want local businesses to be in the shopping center.
But I think your business, and correct me if I'm wrong, your business is phenomenal for the model because your business is not this traditional brick and mortar storefront or a restaurant business. You're like this experiential business where you could potentially keep people sticky in the shopping center before or after their workout. It's like... it's undoubtedly like a destination business.
Right.
Talk to me about that.
I do think that we're a complementary business with a lot of places in the shopping center. And by the same token, we wanted to be in a location where we could be a part of somebody's day. We want to be where somebody's either going to be shopping or, somebody's going to be getting groceries or anything like that. We want to be something where people fit us into their day and can do it easily. So I think that it's definitely very complimentary, and it works both ways. Where yes, we're going to bring people to the shopping center, and then they're going to stay, and then they're going to get their groceries instead of doing it, over an app that's going to be from a national brand.
Exactly. Tom Bowe, the owner of Take It Away Sandwich Shop, watching the program. Mark Wogman, hello and welcome to the show, guys. Give it a like and a share on any of these 12 Facebook pages. Throw this to you. What is next for Zoom Cville? You talk about vertically integrating the model by adding strength and conditioning. First, big time props for having the cojones to keep pushing and growing. Yeah. You could easily have coasted.
And that business opened the day our daughter was born.
Okay. All right. So talk to me about that right there.
Well, she was a month early.
Okay.
And the business, as everything is, was a month late. So those sort of forces work together. Where,
your wife is 8 months pregnant. And the new rev stream opens.
Yes. So again, we have fantastic employees. I remember, we were at the hospital and we didn't know our daughter was coming until day of. My wife was supposed to teach class that day.
Wow. 8 months pregnant? Dude, she is a baller.
She wasn't going to stop until she felt physically unable. And hopefully she doesn't kill me for this. She never looked pregnant.
Why would she kill you for that? That's quite a compliment.
Talking about a woman's looks is always dicey territory.
Right.
But she never looked pregnant. She was always in amazing shape throughout the whole thing, and she had a great pregnancy, and I think that's probably a big reason why we have a lot of pregnant customers. And literally day of, I fired off a text message to 2 of our staff members and was like, it's game day. Please, everything you know of that we're doing, please cancel for us this week. Everything that you can do, please get done. Everything that you can't get done, please just apologize to customers on our behalf. And that's the other thing about being like a really tight-knit community business is when people see you in the business, when people see you working hard, when you do fall short.
They forgive you.
Yes, because they actually know you're trying.
Because they're humans.
Yes.
Especially with local brands. Elizabeth Geyer, welcome to the show. Alexander Kaddick, Caroline Metch, welcome to the program. Throw this topic to you. Why open the strength? Is it strength and conditioning? Is that right?
So it's a very traditional strength and conditioning concept. Every day in that space, they're doing prep, they're doing strength, and then they're doing conditioning. So the prep is the preparation for the strength part, and then traditional sort of conditioning stuff with machines, rowers, bikes, ski erg, stuff like that. We do boxing in there. We have an awesome fight class with one of our staff members who's super popular, and she does an awesome boxing class where people get to work out their frustrations and beat the crap out of a water bag. So that's taken off, and almost every class that she's taught in the past 2 months since we've launched it has been waitlisted in full.
Huntsville watching, Arlington and Fairfax, welcome to the program. So what is the concept? What is you're a goal-oriented guy. Where does the business go from here?
We want to continue to be part of people's lives. And, we have lots of ideas of where that can go, whether it is partnering with a, nutrition brand, whether it is continuing to take more space in Barracks Road and maybe do something else in that space. I hope nobody beats us to it, but if somebody were to open up a healthy food shop in between us and Orange Theory, they could kill it.
Yeah.
That's
what's a healthy food shop look like?
Really anything. I think quick serve would do great in that small space.
Yeah, everything's QSR now.
Yeah.
So
it's about maximizing your square footage, right? I mean, if you've got 3/4 of your space that's people sitting on their butts, spending 45 minutes there, you can't turn the same kind of profit as if everybody's getting in there. Your 100% of your space is the kitchen, a quick service counter, and then they're out. So
that would crush it.
Yeah.
That would absolutely crush it. So you're not afraid to take more risk here.
No.
You're like, okay, are you the type of guy, throw it against the wall, see if it sticks, and if it does, keep going down that road?
For sure.
Yeah?
And that's 100% me. That's where my wife has to rein me in a little bit. I mean, I've had so many ideas about what I wanted to do here.
Are you an entrepreneur first?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
When did you start realizing that?
It's become more and more of a realization. I say this with love. I don't love running the business. I like running the business. I like being my own boss. I love starting the business.
Yeah?
I love that. I love working 16 hours a day for 6 straight months and building something, because that's where you really get to see the A to B. Keeping something going, I mean, it's probably my ADD talking. It's not as fun. It's just not. But you have to do it. And I still like it. I mean, again, I'm wearing Lululemon to work.
Yeah.
But it's the starting the business is really what gets me going.
Love it. Throw this question to you. We talk about this often on the show. How important for your model, and you've alluded to it a little bit, was the parking piece?
Huge.
Okay, because this came up, I think, where I started. Dude, I first started realizing your perspective was valuable was on many threads on Facebook. Mm-hmm. We were talking about some audio, AV here with the show with you because of your DJ skill set. Then we started talking about the Midtown conundrum when it came to parking. Yeah. And your perspective is valuable because I think it's backed by reasoning, and it's backed by almost 34 years of being in Charlottesville. So the Tony and the sexy and the cachet place to do something like this would be downtown.
Yes.
That's safe to say.
And we initially started looking downtown for that reason.
Okay.
We had 2 spots that we were scoping out downtown that were...
Can I ask you where? Is that a fair question or no?
One of them was on West Main.
Okay.
And I guess since they told us thanks but no thanks, one of them was the Coke building.
Okay.
Where they were worried about the sort of noise, and I totally get that.
Okay.
But it was something that we sort of targeted as, hey, this is a new hip project.
Yeah.
That's the kind of place we want to be associated with.
Creativity, energy, vision, forward thinking.
Yes.
Okay.
But now that we have been in business, I am very glad that we're in Barracks Road. Not to say anything negative about any of those other projects. It's just we have people that tell us the reason I come here is because I know I can park.
Does it legitimately, so it depends on who you talk to. This is such a hot topic. Does it legitimately, from your standpoint, an issue in Charlottesville?
Of course.
Yeah? A lot of people say no way. And a lot of people say we should change our mindset when it comes to creating $15 million structures, i.e. this proposed Market Street parking garage, to house tons of steel.
Listen, I will 100% go out to dinner, and I will support a local business, and I will come downtown. I think my wife and I, in the past 2 weeks, have probably been to a local downtown restaurant at least 5 or 6 times. And
really?
We deal with the parking, yes.
With your daughter?
A couple of the times. We went to Fleury, and grandparents were babysitting.
Okay, so you're lucky you have parents. That's right.
Yeah.
I don't have that luxury.
So we're smart enough not to bring her to a small, quiet place like that.
Don't bring her to Fleury.
But, I mean, we went to Orzo last night and we brought her.
Really? You saw Charles and Ken and you brought your daughter?
Yeah.
Respect.
So, and she was actually really good last night. But it's not something that we're unwilling to do. And I'm 100, we came from Arlington. We're willing to park and walk. But it's... on a night, if I'm honest, on a night where it's 7:30 at night, I just got home from the studio.
You want convenience?
Yes. I'm going to go to 5th Street Station. We live south of town. I'm going to go to Barracks Road. I'm going to go somewhere like that where I know I'm going to park. I'm going to walk for 15 seconds, and I'm going to sit down at a restaurant and get a table. I'm not going to go to a place I love, like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, we brought our baby to Continental Divide. And it was great. But it took planning. We had to plan to go there. And it was not something that was spur of the moment.
Did you get some margaritas?
I was a cerveza guy, but there were some margaritas at the table.
I like it.
So it's not something we're unwilling to do, but it's just something where it requires planning. And in a larger city, everything is like that. And in Charlottesville, you've got, some that are and some that aren't. And on a time where I'm just spur of the moment, let's go out and grab something to eat, I'm going to pick a place with parking. If it's something that I have to go to every day and I'm picking between a doctor's office downtown where I know I'm going to have to fight parking, or a doctor that is, out by Martha Jeff, I'm going to pick the place that I know where I can park right across the street from the office.
What are you guys doing with the coronavirus?
So we sent out our, email today.
Should Charlottesville's economic ecosystem be very concerned about this? And here's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
The scuttlebutt I'm hearing, and this is just scuttlebutt, is the University of Virginia is soon, if they haven't already, going to make an announcement.
I've heard that from a reliable source.
Yeah. Okay, so you've heard this as well. I've heard it from reliable sources as well. Folks employed there.
Yeah.
That they're going to make second semester digital, online, stay home, don't come back. Students will not be in Charlottesville until the start of fall semester in August.
Well, this is uncharted territory, right? I mean, first years are the only ones that are living in the dorms and will not be allowed back. I was talking to my wife yesterday. I know what we would do. We were both social bugs. We were party animals.
Me too.
We would go back and we would party with our friends and take classes from our apartments.
And
in
the
town.
parents would not care. Your parents would not care.
No.
Our parents would not care.
No.
Okay. My parents would care.
My parents wouldn't want me at home for 6 more months.
Okay. See, that's my parents would be the same.
But we don't know, right? I mean, so I think from the perspective of retail businesses in Charlottesville, first years aren't our huge patrons. We have a few. But,
that makes sense.
They're not the ones because they can't have cars. So
Right.
they're not our huge patrons. We really, really don't know what our second, third, and fourth year customers are doing. We don't know what the law students are going to do. The law and Darden students in a lot of ways are coming from these big cities from jobs where they worked and they're moving to Charlottesville. We don't know if they would prefer to stay there or move back to DC now. If they know they've got a job at a firm in DC starting in the summer, I don't know if they're going to move back now. We really don't know. So we scaled down our schedule for spring break.
Which is now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're going to take it one step at a time moving back. I think we're going to push our full schedule. We have to sit down today and talk about it. This is, kitchen table conversation. This is when people don't see us at work. We're still sitting down talking about this stuff. We have to decide, are we launching our full schedule today when we come back and hoping for the best? Are we sort of meeting halfway? I know we're going to take it day by day, and if we're not filling classes because students aren't coming back, we're going to have to pull back some. But, it's a worry. Again, it's first of the month. Rent's due either way.
I just got a text message from someone who works at the University of Virginia College of Arts and Science. He says, Jerry, as you know, you can't use by name, but classes are off. We're talking for the rest of this. Literally watching the program and sent this text message here. I'm going to go to virginia.edu to confirm this while you answer this question here. Uncharted territory. We talk about, and James Watson, who's watching this program, I talk about this with him, about Charlottesville almost being recession-proof because of the University of Virginia. I totally 100% feel that way. At the same time, holy shit, there's an update on Virginia. I'll read the update while I throw this to you. So this is literally breaking as we're doing this show here. Uncharted territory in that 20,000 students or whatever the exact number is, that's roundabout, could potentially not be in Charlottesville or on grounds until the end of August. How the hell do you think this is going to, and this is tough to predict, how the hell is this going to affect the University of Virginia corner? All these restaurants that are on like razor thin margins.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's not a happy thought, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people at the hospital working overtime and probably people coming in when they're supposed to be off and things like that, where that can hopefully help, those corner businesses a little bit. But yeah, I'm not a doctor. I don't have advice certainly for people on whether they should or shouldn't come back. As a business owner, I hope our customers come back. And I know, we pushed our email today. We're continuing our cleaning upkeep. Stephanie does a great job. We are putting wipes in both of our studio rooms where people are going to be, in addition to the cleaning that we do between classes, if somebody wants extra peace of mind, if they want to wipe down everything they're going to touch before class, they're going to be more than welcome to do that. We're going to ask customers, instead of just sanitizing our weights on a regular schedule, to do it after every class. Luckily we're already designed for fitness where our HVAC systems are high air exchange. So our air is already exchanged for fresh air very, very often. I think it's like every 15 minutes by design. So that 100% of the air is exchanged every 15 minutes. So, we're hunkered down as best we can. We're practicing good habits. We've got a massive stash of hand sanitizer. So, luckily we got in before the shortage. But
That's like a 5x value on the black market right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully people start making their own and realizing it's not that hard.
Right,
But,
right.
A lot of the guidance we've gotten is just, do the same stuff you'd always do during flu season. Wash your hands.
It literally posted, Justin, I'm going to read this to you 90 seconds ago on virginia.edu. So this high-ranking official in the College of Art and Sciences is correct. President Ryan announces 90 seconds ago that all classes are moving online. We will not be holding classes on grounds for the foreseeable future, quite possibly through the end of the semester.
Okay.
We will reassess after April 5th at the earliest, and periodically after that date. Online classes start Thursday, March 19th. Students who are away on spring break are strongly encouraged to return home and to remain there. Students on grounds and in Charlottesville are strongly encouraged to return home. University events with more than 100 people are prohibited for the foreseeable future.
Wow.
Shit. This is nuts.
Wow.
What's going through your head right now?
Nothing good.
Same for me.
Yeah, I mean it's uncharted territory. It's one of these things that, it's any small business owner, right? We were planning on doing a lot of studio refreshes this year for our 4-year. We're planning on extending our lease, and you hope you have the capital to weather the storm, where you're not literally putting money that would otherwise go toward your kids' college savings into the business to hope that one day it'll start paying for your kids' college savings. So, I mean, yeah, it's very sobering.
How about this question? And this comes up a lot on the show. Small business ownership in the city of Charlottesville and launching a business in the city of Charlottesville. Where do you want to go on that topic?
So I only have one other place to compare it to. My wife and I were both small business owners in Arlington before Charlottesville. I will say that Arlington was a much easier place to start a business. And I mentioned to you off air, I don't believe Arlington is any less liberal than Charlottesville in terms of where things tend to break down in terms of business friendliness. However, Arlington is much business friendlier than Charlottesville. I remember my business to get my LLC, DBA, county business license, and home occupancy permit, because the business was out of the home in Arlington. Altogether, it was about $50. That's all I owed up front. And then at the end of the year, they sent, here, what's your business property worth, and how did you do this year? Charlottesville, it was 2 trips. It was money up front. And when you're a retail business that, look, we're paying high 4 digits. Now that we have 2 spaces, we're paying 5 digits a month in rent. So if you just do the math, that's $120,000 plus in rent. You're talking about paying a staff probably at least that much. So your break-even point is somewhere around $250,000 of revenue. So if you just go in there and you say, I'm hoping to make $250,000 my first year, guess what?
You don't pay yourself.
You owe money on that $250,000 estimate
Up front.
day one.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous.
Day one, you owe percentage of that estimate up front. And it doesn't make sense to me, because if your estimate is wrong, you still owe the difference. It's not like if you undershoot it, you get to, skirt by and, oh, thank God we don't actually owe them this much money.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why it costs so much money to start a business in Charlottesville. We were lucky that we got a bank loan up front, that we were well capitalized, that we have a good relationship with the bank, that, was willing to loan us money, partially on our personal guarantee. But I think about equality, and I think about, equal access to capital and equal opportunity to start a business. And I know that there's people in Charlottesville that are just as smart, just as capable, just as hardworking, that do not have that could bring so much to the city.
Well said.
And guess what? If you don't have, tens of thousands of dollars up front, sorry, you don't get to start a business. I hope you enjoy whatever, hourly job you're doing.
Well said. So well said. Poignant. We're 56 minutes in. You've crushed it here. I'm going to throw this to you. I feel like, and I'm going to get out of the way, and trying to use this platform for one of the missions is this. I feel like the city and those that are running the city should strongly prioritize small business owners, family-run businesses, people that are working their tail off, creating jobs, incentivize us, offer more not opportunity, just make it easier to run. because if we, especially after August 12th, we should be doing everything humanly possible to make this kind of like this entrepreneurial ecosystem for business owners to have success.
Well, look at August 12th, and to me, if you look at this community, the rallying voices of unity, the rallying voices of let's come together as a city, weren't coming from the city. It was coming from private businesses saying everybody is welcome here. It was coming from people saying everybody here is my friend. It wasn't coming from the city. I mean, if anything, I think you could make a pretty good argument that the city was making it worse and sort of fanning the flames. And if you look around town at who's got, the signs up that say, everybody is welcome here, and gives a whole, I noticed it in the window last night at Orzo.
Yeah.
It's businesses.
Yeah.
It's not, it's not city officials for sure. And so I think that the private sector and the small locally owned business private sector has such a role to play in putting together a cohesive community, in getting people together and getting people to feel good about the community, that it really doesn't make sense to me to have city policies that so obviously prioritize and favor a large, well-capitalized, out-of-state, out-of-city national brand coming in because they have the money to do it, and not allow somebody who, is in Charlottesville and maybe working for an hourly wage now, and they can scrape a little bit of money together, but not enough to start a business here.
Amen.
And I don't think that I think we do a good job being a city that's a talent magnet in a lot of ways intellectually, but not necessarily for entrepreneurship.
Amen. Amen.
So I wish we did do a better job at that.
Adam Foreman is giving you big time props on that. Tap the like and share button right there for a business owner that is in the thick with a 10-month-old, his wife running the business with him, taking on more square feet in Barracks Road Shopping Center, creating jobs and doing some big time things. I would be remiss. You are the son of Scott Goodman.
Yeah.
One of the biggest UVA fans on the planet.
I would like to see a bigger one.
The brother of Drew Goodman, who may be able to compete with Scott Goodman for biggest UVA fans on the planet.
I told you that they
Tell
will
us
fly,
that story. This is a crazy story.
They will fly to games, basketball games and football games, but basketball I think is even more nuts because they're shorter games. They will get it.
Scott and Drew.
Yes, they will go to the airport in Charlottesville on game day. We're playing an away game at Louisville. They'll go to the airport. They will fly to Louisville. They will get in a cab at the airport. They'll go to the Yum Center. They'll go to the game. They'll get another cab back to the airport, and then they'll fly home.
That is nuts.
Yeah. I mean, I guess they're saving money on not staying in a hotel, but they literally fly to the game and fly home.
What does the Goodman family say to this? And I respect it because they're bleeding orange and blue,
Yes.
but
Yes.
that is not the norm.
No, it isn't. But I mean, they
Tell the granddaughter story.
I mean, it's I think my dad and my mom, but my dad, he's the one that does the games. They'll do anything to get in granddaughter time, right? But I mean, my dad will, if he's got an Albemarle game to announce, he'll be like, can we just please do dinner at 8 o'clock?
Albemarle basketball game.
Yes. So he doesn't not want, he wants to still have the granddaughter time, but he's got to, he's been a volunteer there for, 45 years at this point since he was a first year.
He started calling the Albemarle games as a first year at UVA?
Yeah, he's been a volunteer in the athletic department since he moved to Charlottesville.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So they named the press box after him at AHS.
At the football field?
Yeah. So
why does he like it so much?
He's always been very community driven. I think he likes, getting out, seeing a lot of people he knows, in probably a slightly different context than, at work. Like I said, walking down the, downtown mall with him is literally a 45-minute walk. People will yell out his name and come, running across the mall to come say hi. And I can't tell you how many times growing up it was, your dad bailed me out of, So it's nice that he's popular. It's nice that he has a good reputation. It's nice that I think people see him going out of his way to help people and things like that.
Take a final word to give some props to Cara.
She is.
That's his wife, guys.
Yes. I know a lot of hardworking people. A lot of our staff are hardworking. I know a lot of hardworking other business owners. I don't know a soul that is as hardworking as Cara. She technically has 3 jobs. She has a full-time job as a graphic designer. She is a freelance graphic designer, and she owns the business with me. And she doesn't give anything less than 100% to any of them. She is from 7 a.m. to at least 7 or 8 p.m. And then again, when we're having dinner, we're still talking shop, working. 2 monitors up, working the whole time, feeding a baby, entertaining a baby, one hand on the keyboard, one hand on the baby. I don't know a soul that works as hard as her.
Nice. You crushed it today.
I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, anytime. I appreciate your perspective that you share on social.
Awesome.
Seriously. Support the businesses that are making Charlottesville better, and
Yes.
Zoom Cville embodies that quality. I'm so pumped.
hope so.
When you continue to expand, can we welcome? You know what would be awesome if we did like a Scott, Drew, Justin roundtable.
Oh my gosh.
I would just get out of the way, and you guys would talk.
It would be a lot of arguing.
Is that what it's like?
Yeah, I mean,
Like friendly banter?
Yes, yeah, we'll get together, and it's a lot of those, like friendly stuff where it's like, oh, what would happen if, and just pull some absurd.
What
shit
would happen
out.
if Kyle Guy came back for another year at
Yeah,
UVA basketball?
yeah.
You ever think about that?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
How much nastier we would be if Kyle Guy was back?
Yes. Oh, I mean, if you look at the landscape, there isn't a good team.
Right.
I feel really good about Virginia's chance. I mean, who knows? But
I feel good about Virginia's chances.
Yes. I feel like we have absolutely just as good of a chance of making a run as getting bounced early.
Yeah, fair.
So it's, and that's all you can really ask for in a year where nobody's that good.
What did Coach Bennett said it the best? We can play with anybody in the country, but anybody in the country can play with us.
And I do have to say, I was actually thinking about this on the way over, is that I was listening to the CBS podcast on basketball, and they're now sort of predicting that we will likely play in empty arenas. That's where things are trending.
That's nuts.
But I don't know that there is a team or a coach that is better prepared to handle a curveball of adversity like this than we are.
Agreed.
I mean, when you think about what we went through from day one of UMBC to coming back, winning the national title with 3 or 4 games that we easily could have lost. And, the kind of the coach that we have and the kind of team that we have. I mean, looking at this year, we have, I think I heard on their podcast too, that the 7-game winning streak we had is a record for the total margin of victory. We have the lowest margin of victory ever for a 7-game win streak by a power conference team in conference play. So if there's a team that can handle a curveball like playing in an empty arena, I know we're well positioned for that.
And dude, I could talk with you for freaking 3 hours here. Were you not taken aback that Coach Tony Bennett did not win ACC Coach of the Year? He loses. I know Leonard Hamilton in Florida State won the regular season. We lost 4 starters.
Yeah.
And the bullseye that was on our back as the reigning national champions, literally getting everybody's best game, losing 4 starters, going through that stretch in the middle of the season where we were just not very good, to how we finished. I think in a lot of ways, and I've said this before, I think in a lot of ways, this was Tony Bennett's best coaching year yet.
Yeah. I was actually just shouting porches in Huntley with my neighbor the other day. I think you'd have a hard time saying last year wasn't the best coaching job when you win a national title, but I think you can make a strong argument for this year.
Yeah.
With what we lost, with what we have coming back.
You have a 5'7" point guard. You have Braxton Key, one of our best players, busted up his hand.
Yeah.
You don't have any outside shooting whatsoever. You have Morcell from DC that cannot throw the ball in the ocean. Right now, that's safe to say. We're relying on a junior college transfer from Italy that no one can pronounce his last name to be our stretch outside shooter. And now this team is playing as good as anyone in the country.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I hope that, Casey's just kind of got a little bit of the basketball yips.
I hope.
I mean, I've heard from some folks that saw him play in high school, and I really am not worried again when you've got a coaching staff like we have. If it's a mental block, I'm not worried. You can't teach somebody to be that much faster. You can't teach somebody to jump that much higher.
Oh, he's a specimen.
You can't, there's
Teach
a lot
that
you
body.
can't teach. But if we're talking about teaching the game and just teaching, just maybe it's freshmen just getting out of your own head, I'm not worried at all about our staff.
How far do you think we're going to go?
If I were putting a bet down.
Yeah, okay. Do you bet from time to time?
Allegedly.
Okay.
Allegedly.
So you're putting a bet down.
I would not take the under on the Elite 8, but I probably wouldn't take the over either.
Wow.
But I would not put the under on us getting bounced in the Sweet 16 because I think we've played our way into a high enough seed now that we're probably not going to see a really great team.
So I'm setting the over-under on the Sweet 16, and you're taking they're going to surpass that.
What I'm saying is that if you put the over-under on the Sweet 16, I'm going to take the over. If you put it on the Elite 8, I would have a hard time deciding where to go. But I think we're going to make a run.
Who's your favorite player on this team? I literally could talk to you for hours here.
I mean, I think that when you look at Mamadou's just absolute joy for the game and how much fun he has playing.
And his career from start to finish.
Yes. I think that's tough not to love. I mean, you got to love Jay Huff, the energy he brings. And I think that, a guy like Kihei Clark of like, I might be the smallest guy out here, but nobody's going to work harder than me. And, nobody's going to be more in your face. I mean, you heard, I'm sure you heard the rumor of like Ty Drum got so frustrated he threw a ball at him in practice.
Yeah.
That, I love that. Charlottesville has 100% embraced our defensive identity. We cheer for the shot clock more than anything else. And when you get a guy like Kihei that just 100% buys in and is just in guys' faces, like, how can you not love that?
Stephanie Wells Rhodes, and I love what her family does. The family behind Interstate Pest and Service Companies, Interstate Inc. She says, Wahoos for life, whether we win or lose, we stand by and love our Wahoos. I mean, that's what Stephanie, Scott Goodman's kid right here, that is what the Goodman family is all about, right?
I mean, I was at that time when I was in high school, it was, I think, the year before, USC absolutely killed us in Charlottesville. We happily went out to LA and we're like, yeah, let's go watch the game at USC. We'll probably get stomped. We weren't even very good then. But
your mom is all about it.
She tolerates. She had 3 boys. What's she gonna do? So she's used to it.
I would love to get a Goodman roundtable. Can you? Seriously, we will work around your schedule. I would love to do this. It would
be fun. And now my youngest brother is a prosecutor in Louisa now.
Really?
So we'd have the defense attorney, the prosecutor, the small business owner, and Drew now works at the Virginia Autism Institute. So he's doing better things than all of us.
So it goes, you're oldest?
Yeah.
God, I would love to be a fly on the wall at any holiday or dinner at your house, dude.
It gets heated. About sports.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure. You crushed it. You crushed it. Guys, we will archive the show in totality on ilovecville.com for the next 2 weeks. We will syndicate this across the I Love CVille network, which is 17 Facebook pages, 17 Twitter accounts, the 3rd largest Instagram community in Central Virginia, a LinkedIn account and community that goes out to over 15,000 people. We have a daily e-newsletter that goes out to over 130,000 inboxes. We'll turn it to a podcast on iTunes and Apple Podcasts. We close the show. More text messages coming in, guys, about the University of Virginia. The University of Virginia, if you're just tuning in now, 2nd semester is going online. Just announced. 2nd semester online. So students not returning to Charlottesville for the foreseeable future. We close the show with the same message. Guys, please embody the golden rule. Treat the other people in your life how you want to be treated yourself. The golden rule, a straightforward concept on paper. Charlottesville needs the golden rule more than ever. So does the country. The golden rule, the golden rule, the golden rule. I'm Jerry Miller. It's the I Love CVille Show. We have Wednesday. We have another show on our network, What's Barking Local, that spotlights the animal community in Central Virginia, powered by Animal Connection in McIntyre Plaza. That's at 3 o'clock. We hope you enjoy this. All we're trying to do is spotlight the best of Charlottesville and the businesses that are making the community better. Take care, guys.
Cool.
Thanks. Dude, you were
great.
Had fun. Yeah, you were so good.
I was worried I wasn't going to have anything to say, man.
You were a natural.